Hello everybody, this is Stewart Jean here, coming at you again from Musicians Institute, Hollywood, California, for Drum Magazine. For the month of March, we have been looking at grooves that don't have your standard 2 and 4 backbeat. Today we're going to look at Superbad by James Brown and the drummers John, Jabo, Starks. This is a although unorthodox, common groove that all drummers should be familiar with. What's happening here on this groove is the backbeat is basically syncopated. We have 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. So again, we have that downbeat of 1 is where the snare drum is falling, and then we have a funky bass drum pattern in there, and we have great hi-hat, very iconic of Mr. Starks, where the hi-hat's going, he tended to play it just on the tip there on the top cymbal, and very straight sounding, not a lot of this kind of molar action or anything like that. And he'd open it on the end of 1 and end of 3, which really kind of hints at a backbeat, like leaning into a beats 2 and 4, even though we're not really hearing it. But the hi-hat part, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it really doesn't get any sympathetic action from the snare drum. It's not really, you don't want to really have that happen. You need the independence to that little ghost note there on the E of 3 doesn't have to be secretive. It can pop out. So the entire groove, I'm going to just slow it down a little bit and build it up. We have bass drum also plays on 1, and it also plays on the end of 3 and the end of 4. So we have let's play it to a track. Thinking of this song Superbad made me think about another equally unique but definitely influenced by James Brown individual, Prince. Michael Bland on the song Sexy MF plays, they tip their hat to the James Brown thing. It's a little slower. It's got a little more bass drum action in it. There's bass drum on the end of 1, 2 hits. And there's just a little more action in there. And he does change it up on beat 4. The pattern I'm going to play is basically a 1-bar pattern that's, I'd say, 95% what he does. But every now and then he does hit the snare on beat 4. And he also occasionally maybe changes the bass drum. You could think of beat 4 as your little bit of wiggle room to do something different in there, but subtle, nothing crazy. One thing you will notice with Michael Bland's sort of version on this is he's not as tippy, stick top of the cymbal, tip of the stick. He's definitely a little digging in a little bit more, and I think you're go ahead and accent that hi-hat with the snare drum like that. I think it's okay to do that in this case. So check it out.